Phillies kind of are moving forward. Scott, welcome back. Always good to have you on this holiday season.
Glad to be back, Mike. How are you?
Always good. I had a couple days off. I'm working today just so I could talk to you, and then I'm off the rest of the year.
Oh, good for you. Well, enjoy your holidays.
No problem, man. It's good to catch up with you guys, and obviously, you guys this offseason are in a much different spot that you've been in the last couple of years. First, let's talk about that Giles deal. I mean, here's a young guy who many people like. You had some control over him, and why Giles? Why was this the right time to move Giles as opposed to maybe at the trade deadline or other opportunities? Why was this deal the right deal for Ken?
Well, Kenny had done a great job for us, and took to the closer role after we traded Pap, and had certainly established himself as someone who had a chance to be a dominant closer going forward. Unfortunately, in our situation, that was sort of I don't want to say a luxury, but something that was probably going to be the difference between us winning, maybe not losing 100 games and losing 90 games at the situation we're in right now. I don't think anyone's expectations are to the point that we're going to be competing for the National League East Division title yet. We're still in the process of accumulating as much talent as we can. Kenny was probably our most valuable trade chip at this particular point in time, and we went to an organization that has one of the better farm systems in baseball, and we were able to basically multiply Kenny into multiple prospects and continue to add depth to our system, which we desperately need, and give us as many opportunities to add quality talent to our system, and basically create a tremendous amount of competition for jobs on our major league club, and for those guys that are in the minor leagues pushing their way through the system. And also, the other thing, Mike, was to allow some of that young talent that we've accumulated over the course of some of the trades we've made over the past year to develop at the right pace. Charlie Morton and Jeremy Hellickson are guys that we've acquired along the way as well, and they're veteran starting pitchers. And maybe that allows us to be more protective of a guy like Jake Thompson or Zach Eflin. Let them continue to grow. They hadn't pitched an inning above Double-A to this point. Let them have a full season at Triple-A. The object obviously is, once these young players get to the major leagues, one, that they're ready, and two, that they stay in the major leagues. And I think the things we've done are designed to create that type of an environment for them to develop at the right pace and arrive at the major leagues ready to stay here. So,
Scott, I think the last time we had talked, there was a conversation that came up about a deal that somebody had talked about, and it didn't actually happen. And this is something that was similar. There was a report that you guys had gotten an outfielder in the deal. Then that gets switched, and you end up getting a guy that maybe baseball fans had heard of, then a former number 1 overall pick, Mark Appel. And, how much, getting 5 pitchers in this deal, Velasquez obviously a name that people are excited about too, but how much was adding Mark into this deal something that really excited you guys?
Well, again, anytime you get a chance to get someone with that type of a pedigree, I know he's had some bumps in the road along the way in the minor leagues, but he pitched the championship game of the AAA, the Pacific Coast League playoffs last year and dominated in that game. So the talent is there. Again, he's another guy that we've got in the system. Let him develop at the right pace, and hopefully he can be a quality major league pitcher. And at the major league level when he arrives here. So we were very excited to get him in, and the media, you guys do a pretty good job of snuffing things out. When there's smoke, there's fire. A lot of times, this one just took a little longer to work out the details, and there were back and forth throughout the process. So, I know stuff got out there before it was finalized, but there were constant back and forth until we finally arranged the right deal that we were both both sides were comfortable with, on Saturday. So
it's obvious with 5 pitchers there that you really wanted to stockpile and continue to just, and you mentioned it before, competition and to have that depth. I feel like you saw over the last year or two what the lack of depth did to your rotation and the bullpen to some extent.
Everybody saw that, Mike. It was not real pretty to watch, and it was in some cases actually detrimental to the development of some of these guys to put them in situations that they're not prepared for. It was just one of those things that Andy and Matt have identified, and it was something we were obviously aware of before with the haul we got in the Rangers deal, and the deal we had for Papelbon. We got pitching, and the deal for Revere, we got pitching in all those deals. So, it's certainly, a priority. And, the one thing about this game, and, I've been in it a long time, but you never have enough pitching. That's obviously a common phrase, but people I've been involved with, throughout the course of the game, it really is a numbers game, Mike. When I was with the Braves way back when, Paul Snyder was our scouting director, and he always would tell me, you got to have 20 to get 5. And, you just don't know out of those 20 who the 5 are, but, whether it's injury or, mental makeup or, whatever the case may be, there's going to be an attrition rate. And if you don't have those numbers, you're going to come up short. So that's, basically the mindset that we've had in a lot of these deals.
Scott Profrock's with us, the Phillies assistant general manager. The Phillies made a deal for Charlie Morton over the weekend. A veteran guy, 32. He can give you some innings. You mentioned the 5 pitchers you got there. Also added a couple Rule 5 guys, and obviously the rules with that means they have to stay on the roster for the full year. Is this something, with Tyler and Daniel, 2 guys you took there, is this something that you're hoping that in spring training that they make you – obviously you want them to, but are you expecting them to make you keep them?
Well, we've had quite a bit of success over the years with the Rule 5 draft. Obviously, the most recent one was Odubel Herrera last year. He came into camp. I don't think we had really high expectations for him last year, and he came into camp and just worked his tail off and won himself a spot on the team, and eventually became the everyday center fielder. We like Tyler for a chance to have a spot in our outfield, and we're quite frankly, again, Mike, in a situation where if we went into the draft thinking that if we found a player that we liked with tools, we could afford to have him in the major leagues and develop in the major league level. Try to protect him when we need to, but give him the opportunity. And the same thing, and we had a need for a right-handed hitting outfielder, so he fit the bill in both those areas. And in Daniel's case, he was a guy that was a left-handed reliever. We're a little short left-handed relievers. Mario Hollins is coming off Tommy John surgery. Ellis Araujo was hurt at the end of the year, and was probably got to the major leagues, quite frankly, faster than he should have, because of some of the injuries that we had. So we're just trying to add players in areas that we have need, and again, create competition. Competition is a great thing, and it's also one of those things that we don't want these players to get too comfortable. We want them to know that there's players behind them coming, and if they don't produce, somebody else is going to take their job. So creating that competition helps get the best out of these guys. So
no doubt. And one, you talk about competition. You mentioned Odubel Herrera. You also got Peter Borges in there earlier. Is that going to be a competition, or do you hope that you can figure out a way to keep both of them in the lineup and in the outfield at the same time? Because obviously, Odubel's new to center field, and Peter might be one of the best defensive center fielders in the game.
No question. We're again, and that's we haven't been able to acquire the big hairy monster that's going to hit 40 home runs for us and stick him out in the outfield. So the other aspect of winning baseball games is run prevention. And if we have, 3 center fielders, running around in the outfield in Altier, Borges, and Herrera, there are a lot of those fly balls that fell into the gaps in the past are going to be caught. So that's another area that we're trying to take advantage of the abilities of the players that we have. So.
Well, that should be fun at spring training to watch those two guys go at it, because you mentioned Odubel was a surprise last year, and Peter's just fun to watch in the outfield. Last one, obviously you guys have a lot of things to do between now and the time you get to spring training here. But new regime, and you're still here, which is good news. How are things different? Are you noticing some big differences already with the way the front office is doing things? Is there a new philosophy that is taking place here, or are things kind of similar?
Well, I think again, I don't think anyone is looking to reinvent the wheel here. We have good people here. I had a relationship with Andy and Matt in Baltimore. I worked with both of them when I was with the Orioles, change is you change to grow, and it's going to be different no matter what the change is. Ruben was, in my opinion, a very good executive. He listened to all his people, and got their opinions and made a lot of good decisions. I mean, some of them didn't work out. Some of them were, some that may not have been necessarily his decision as well, but. I'm very happy for him that he landed on his feet, and he's doing something that he has a passion for. He always seemed like he wanted to get back on the field, just sitting there watching games with him in the GM booth. But I'm very happy for him, and he did a lot for me and my family, and very appreciative of that. But it was time for a change in the opinion of ownership, and we're going to move forward and do the best we can. To continue to, put as competitive a team as we can on the field, and eventually, get back to the point where we're competing for divisions, championships, and pennants and World Series. So. Well,
we'll see it all unfold. Spring training, the schedule is out. They made a couple of the little switches to the schedule if you're somebody going to spring training. But Scott Profrock, always a pleasure to catch up. Happy holidays to you and your family, and we will talk to you down the line, pal.
Thanks, Mike. Take care.
Take care.